What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. So today I'm going to wrap some wheel faces for you. I'm going to show you how to do this, step-by-step instructions. I'm going to show you how quick and easy it can be and reasons why you may or may not want to do this. Now, as far as wrapping wheel faces goes, we have an array of different colors. We can do really cool stuff like the holographic chrome, which I have sitting on the table right here. Again, we're always looking at durability and warranty and stuff like that. How long could something like this last for? That really varies a lot because we don't know the types of climates that the wheels are going through. It is not a stationary part of the vehicle, and we don't know how many miles a year someone is putting on their vehicle. So there are many different factors that can take place here. Also, wheel prep is going to be very, very important, because we need to make sure that there is no grease or any grime left on the wheels. Now, these are my wheels. These are some work varianzas. They're old and they've definitely seen some better days. I haven't used them in forever. I haven't even used them, actually. I just picked them up like a year and a half ago or something like that. And you know what? Instead of refinishing them, I said, hey, you know what? I'll wrap the faces and maybe even the lips. We'll see how it goes. To show you how to wrap the lip will be a whole different video. Because I do get asked a lot of questions about how to wrap the lip. Usually there would be a seam, but we can see what that looks like because we'd have to run a piece on the inside and then have a seam somewhere coming out. If we were to do it in chrome, that would be definitely the only way to do it. Now, could you do it and stretch it in if it was a regular vinyl? Of course. You could do it with, like, let's say stretching a regular gloss black into the lip. Yes, that would probably be a little bit more likely to stretch into there, but again, we look at the potential of lifting and durability with high tension on it and high stress, especially on a wheel. It might not last too long. Again, if we're just wrapping the wheel faces, it's going to be a little bit more particular on the style of wheel that you have. If you have something that has really defined spokes like this, we can actually wrap this wheel, and if it's your own wheels, you can wrap them without knifeless tape. You can use knifeless tape. I don't really think it's necessary if your cutting skills are on point. Have I wrapped wheels before? Many, many times. Unfortunately, it's just I limit it to the wheel face because wrapping inside each and every single one of these individual windows takes quite a bit of time. So we want to make sure that we're spending the right amount of time and, bang for the buck, we try and get this effect that we desire. Now, these are a black chrome face with a stainless steel polished lip. The lip definitely needs to be polished. It's really in rough shape. And the faces of these wheels are in a little bit of rough shape as well. So I have a few products here and I'm going to go through them. What we're going to need is we're going to need a blade. Okay. So I have my blade. Make sure it's a fresh blade and you have some length to it because it's going to help to have a bit of length to it in order to keep your blade on the back side of the edge here to keep cutting nicely. In this case, we're going to have a bit more blade out than normal when we're cutting like on a car, because we want it to keep the flat part of the blade on the edge. Something else we're going to need is we're going to need some degreaser. Okay, this is adhesive remover / degreaser. It works very well. And then we have some isopropyl alcohol to remove the degreaser. That way we make sure that we're not leaving any degreaser behind, because the vinyl will not adhere to any adhesive remover or degreaser. We've got some tape. So the tape's important because I want to mask off the lip so that way we don't have a lot of contact with the actual piece of vinyl. I've got a heat gun because we're going to need that too, and a measuring tape. Alright, so these are 19-inch wheels with a lip. So I'm going to guess the inner area is about 18 inches. So we can measure that with our soft tape measure and we can check it out. So it's about 18 inches. A little bit longer. We're gonna cut this at around 19 inches, 20 inches. But first we have to prep the wheel face. So it's gonna be a kind of quick and easy job, and this is taking a bit of time talking about it here, but just to show you how easily it can be done and the way you can do this is really not that difficult at all. Now again, you can see these wheels here. I'm actually gonna cut right on the back side of the edge right here and run my blade all the way along, all the way through, just cutting out these windows. They're called windows. I could wrap this area here if I wanted to, but I would do this in a separate piece most likely. This way I'm not stretching into this 90-degree bend here where failure is likely to happen. Can you stretch the vinyl in a little bit? Sure, you could if you're doing like a more regular finish. Again, you're going to see exactly how this looks when I kind of put this holographic chrome over top of a black chrome finish. So let's get the wheel prepped. And by doing that, I'm going to grab a little bit of adhesive remover or degreaser. And I'm just doing this in the house, you know, it's like whatever. Let's take off the center cap because we might as well. You can pop that back in after. So I want to just go over this really nicely. And then once I'm done doing this part, what I'm going to do is go over it with the squeegee at the very edges so I can make sure I've gotten all the edges nice and clean. I can already see them coming out a lot shinier, which is nice. These wheels have been sitting around for a really long time. All right, so let's take my pouch. I'm going to slap that on. And I'm going to take my squeegee now, and I'm going to put, this is the hard edge squeegee, so the harder squeegee, the more firm one. I'm going to put that around the put the microfiber cloth around it. Let's spray a little bit more adhesive remover slash grease remover, and let's get in those edges a little bit right there. Maybe I'll just do the whole thing in holographic chrome with the lips, the face and the lips. So see how it looks. It'll be interesting to see how it looks. I won't do that all in one video, like I said. I'll do it in 2 separate videos. All right, so we're just gonna go around all the edges here now. Make sure this is nice and clean. And then our next step will be to go over with the isopropyl. Now, there isn't a lot of dirt on the rag, which is good. It means these are fairly clean to begin with, not a lot of grease kicking around. Perfect. And what I'll also do is just give it one of these in here, in the holes, in the wheel lug holes. And let's just get in those guys. So I'm not gonna stretch the film into the wheel lug area. I'm just gonna cut around it. Again, to stretch the film into there would be causing a lot of risk, okay? So the risk would be, yes, it's probably going to fail. So now I'm going to take the other side of the rag, and I'm going to take some isopropyl and wipe off the rest of the wheel again. This will be a little bit faster. I should have a spray bottle for this, but I don't. It's fine. Just make sure the rag's not too soaked. I don't need it to be soaking wet. So they're already coming out really nice. So now I'm going to take it and wrap my finger around it and just make sure I got all the edges. So again, prep is very important. Take your time doing this part. We're almost ready to wrap it, and you're going to see once I get this part done just how this goes. Perfect. Let's just give the outer edge a wipe because I'm going to mask it. Excellent. So it's going to help to mask off the outer edge just because once I remove the release liner from the film, it's going to want to stick to this edge, so I want to prevent that from happening. Everything that I'm using today, you can get in the description below. I'll even try and put the masking tape in there for you if it's available on Amazon. This heat gun is incredible. You can see that it's been taking quite a beating, and this is the Vvivid like $30 heat gun, and it's holding up really well. This is the one I did the original review on a while ago. All right, so when it gets to masking, we don't have to make it too fancy, just something to cover the edge there. Perfect. So now we know our piece is about 19 inches, 20 inches. So we're gonna cut it into a square, and I need my tape measure. And I'm going to zoom you guys in for the actual wrapping of the wheel. So let's get this. Always cut it a little bit bigger. We can always trim off extra. We just can't add extra once we cut, right? So I'm going to make sure that we're cutting it a little bit bigger. So I can get, because this is a 60-inch piece, I can get 2 wheels out of one 20-inch wide cut. So as far as value goes, you can get a lot done with a very minimal amount of film. All right, so now I'm going to cut this again at 20 inches. Let's measure that out. I'll just do it here. 20 inches, all right, so right around here. So this is a very fragile film to be working with, but it's fun. It's a pretty flat wheel face, so I'm not too concerned about it. And we'll take that out of the way. All right, so we have our piece cut. Now this comes with a protective liner on it. So I'm going to remove the protective liner, and what I'm going to do is actually remove my bottles here because I don't want them to spill. I'll move the wheel in so you can see. And let's zoom in slightly. Perfect. Okay, so right now I'm going to take this and place it on. Kind of see where we fall. Just make sure there's no debris. There are some stone chips in it, but we'll just get a really good idea on how this looks. We even covering over the stone chips, we'll get to see how this looks. So what we want to do is we want to press into the very middle, and as tension-free as possible, we want to get this film in here and flat. We don't want to push right down into the wheel. We want to actually outline this area right here, okay? If we push into the middle first, we're going to get a lot of wrinkles running outwards, okay? And so that is going to be an issue when it comes to that. So you can check this out. It looks pretty amazing already. Yeah, it's pretty wild, huh? So we'll see how this looks once it's done. So this is the easy part now, guys. Now we just feed the vinyl in over the spokes, and we can actually do relief cuts as we go if we run into too much vinyl, and I'll explain the relief cuts in a minute. So the relief cuts would probably end up being like between the spokes, right? So we'll see if I need them. If I need them, then I'll show you how to do them. Obviously better to do this when the wheel is not hot and just taken off the vehicle. And it's also going to be much easier to do as when it's removed from the vehicle. So I have a bit too much vinyl right here. I'm going to cut it down a little bit. It's very thick. There we go. If you're more comfortable masking more of the wheel off, go for it. Again, if it's your own wheel, totally up to you. If you're doing someone customer's wheel, you might want to mask it off a little bit more so that way you don't slip and cut something you shouldn't. See how easy this is? It's already like, it's almost done. After, it's just going to be cutting. Just cut some more of that out. Yeah, so after that I'm going to go over with heats once I get all the spokes down, and then I'm going to cut. Okay, got a couple more left. Let's see where that's going to fall. Let's get cut out some more of this. When I start my cuts, I always start them on the inside and then come out from there. So let's push that down. Push that one down. Cool. So now I'm going to make sure that I'm to the edge on all of them and just around the end of the spokes. If you don't have wheel faces like this, then you can use knifeless tape there or whatever, put a piece down and cut through it with using the knifeless tape. With a knifeless tape, you can get creative in whatever way you want. But this is just a fun little project to do that doesn't take very long. And you know, instead of refinishing your wheels, like, you could just do this and have a nice looking set in whatever color you want. It will most likely last quite a while, okay? I'll tell you that much. It's not like it's just gonna fade away or fly off the wheel. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is take out our glove. That's another tool you need right there. Let's have a look at it. Looks pretty rad. So now we're gonna take our heat gun and we're gonna soften up the film, okay? We don't wanna hold the heat gun too close because this film will burn. So all I wanna do is tighten it up around all the edges. Very evenly as you can do it. Because however far you push this down is going to determine how far your cut is going to be down. So you want them all to be very equal when it comes to that. So I'm only just pushing down on the top and letting my finger fold over the edge slightly. That's the very important part here. As far as making it look nice goes and keeping that edge nice and straight, we're just taking our finger and running it across the top and tightening it to the edge. You can see that I'm not trying to stretch it into the actual recesses or the windows. So hopefully with this camera angle I'll be able to stay out of your way pretty well and show you exactly how the cutting goes. Okay, so I'm not quite done yet. I do want to push in the center, all right? It's a little bit hot right now and I don't want to break the finish. So I'm going to move the camera in a little bit more still. And we'll get you guys set up for the actual cutting. Perfect. All right, so what I'm going to do right here, since I know there is a hole where the wheel cap goes, I'm going to cut a small hole. And again, this isn't that big of a deal if you break the finish in this area. You're going to see that the finish probably will break a little bit with the chrome, but it's still going to look like a holographic. It's still going to have the holographic effect. I don't think I've done wheels in holographic. Oh, I did a long time ago. When this stuff first came out, I got a sample piece of it, and we did a couple of wheels in it just for fun. All right, so I just want to cut a little hole like that. Again, we're going to take some heat, and we're going to target the lowest areas first. So I kind of want to push this whole thing down in one shot. You want to go for those really low points. And you can see why cleaning is going to be very important. So I want to get some post-heat action in there. My heat gun's pretty freaking hot, so that's good already. All right. So just to show you, I broke the finish in the middle, but we still have full holographic. Look at that. That is outrageous. That is pretty cool stuff. Okay, so I know my blade isn't very sharp, so I need to snap a blade off. I want to have the utmost sharpest blade possible, okay? That's going to be very important. Here we go. This is time to cut. Very simple, very straightforward, okay? Just keep your hand planted and you can keep this nice and steady, okay? So what I like to do is its body positioning is very important. We're gonna put a little bit more blade out than usual, and we're gonna take it, see my hand is not that steady, but we're gonna take the blade and we're gonna run it on the back side, see? And we're gonna take our time when we come around these areas right here. It's one piece already done right there. You can see how I start at the ends and then I come in. For me, this makes a big difference when it comes to keeping the line as smooth as possible. Because I can actually push through and find the very end of it. Now, if you have slack in the middle here, you don't want to have slack in there because it's going to ruin your line. So you want the vinyl to be taut. And you notice how the vinyl is taut all the way through pretty much all of these little windows. It'll be easier for me to come this way now. I can just come back towards me. Again, if you feel like masking more of this off, you can do that. If you're concerned about cutting on something that you shouldn't. This is good knife work practice because you have to have a steady hand. Actually, you don't have to have a steady hand. Sorry, that's my bad. You just have to practice your cutting angle. That's the important part there. Is keeping the blade in the right spot all the time. And body positioning is also very important. You see how they're coming along, right? So I'll have to cut off all the ends in just a moment when I finish doing the rest of these. Keeping tension on the film is very important when you're bringing it around bends and stuff like that. You have to have a little tension on the film. It keeps your cut straight, okay? That's another important thing to remember. So if you find that it's falling down or whatever, just grab it and hold on to it. And this will keep, you'll be able to put a little tension on it and you'll be able to cut straight. Start coming around here. You know what, it's Sunday, I thought this would be a fun little project to do. There's no rush here, guys. We can just take our time. See, I'm holding on to it. I don't have to do that for all of them. It just depends on my body positioning. It's the vinyl that's making that fun squeaky sound. I'm just going to restart the video. I'm running out of time. Alright, so you can see how it's coming along. It's pretty amazing, huh? It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to wrap all these and have them ready for summer. Okay, so all the windows are cut out other than the very ends. I'll make sure that I followed through properly to the very end of all of these. This way, when I'm ready to go, I can cut the very tips off and remove the entire piece. Again, this doesn't make sense to do with every type of wheel, okay? Sometimes it's going to be much more challenging than just doing this. Sometimes your wheel color is going to be already red or something. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to cover, or have a two-tone. It might not look as good. So the two-tone with this, you're about to see, I think will look fantastic, because you won't even see the actual black chrome anymore in the windows. It shouldn't stand out too much since it's a very similar finish. Oh, I missed one right here. It's funny. And then I have the little ones to do where the wheel lugs go. And use a little bit of heat afterwards, finish up all the edges that are slightly elevated right now, and then we're done. Just gotta find the space. Just about there, a couple more to go. And just take your time, guys. It's not a race. You want it to come out nice. You don't want to put all this work in for it to just not come out nice and then possibly fail down the road. So again, it's not a competition on who can do it faster. Gotta get this one down here. Should be all of them. Just take your time when removing it, because we want to make sure that we cut through properly and we didn't leave anything connected. Like that one there a little bit. There we go. Perfect. So it's going to look a little rough around the edges, but I'll show you. I have to go over them because some of them have lifted. Looks pretty rad. I'm all about it. All right, so now we're going to cut out these guys right here. This will only take a moment. So I'll just start with the first one, whatever, right here in the middle. Back of the blade, it's very important you're using that. That's your guide all the way through, even these funny little shapes right here. These are awkward because they come down and they do like little loops and stuff, and they're just a little awkward, that's all. You're going to see exactly how it looks. Can I push this down and in here? Sure, I could do that, but I don't want to do that. Now I'm kind of trapped it. There we go. So you could push some down in there so you have a little bit of that holographic effect or a little bit of coverage on the inside, because that would be like a free floating tab. It's actually going to cover the bottom here pretty well, and on the inside here you're not even going to really see it because it's dark and it gets dirty in there anyways, because you're not going to, so even over time it's not going to be a big deal because it will just get dirty and it'll hide pretty much the color of the wheel, unless you clean your wheels really, really well all the time. Some people do. and clean all in the wheel lug holes and stuff like that, then yeah, okay, you're gonna see the original color. But if you just kind of leave that part a little bit dirty, it's a way to get away with having a two-tone where no one would really notice that second color. So I always start here on the side and then I come up. And when we push through, we're just pushing through to find a space for the blade to fit through. And I do the sides first because it's easier to get the sides done first because they're the harder part to cut. And then I can just hold this as like a tab and keep a little tension on it. It keeps my cut very straight. So I'll bring them around so you can see even more here. So maybe you can zoom in a little bit more. So again, I'm cutting down the sides first, right here. And then I come around the bottom. I usually bring the blade towards me because I find it's easier to cut than cutting outwards. It can be awkward. Like right now I'm kind of cutting outwards. It gets a little awkward. I'm just cutting outwards right now because I'm trying to stay out of the way for the video. But normally I would probably just move the wheel or move my body position. Same thing with this one. Let's start on the side. Awesome, then we just have the little ones to go and then we're done. We'll go over with heat. Doing these little guys right here it helps to have the sharpest blade possible. Perfecto. All right, let's add a little heat, a little zest, and we're gonna see what it looks like when she's done. So again, I don't want to burn these, so I'm just adding enough heat to round off the edges, soften it up a little bit. If I add too much heat, I'm gonna end up burning the film, and I don't want to do that because it'll make my edges not look quite as nice as they could. Be thorough. Once the edge is pushed down and there's no more air behind it, yes, then you can go over it with a bit more heat because the film was a lot less likely to burn when it's already pushed down. It's only when there's air behind it that it tends to burn. So one thing to keep in mind. So even with the stone chips that are in it, I can't even really see any of them anymore. let's do the wheel lugs. And then last bit is to go over the very tips. And I'm going to use the buffer side of the squeegee because it's more rounded and it fits in there a lot nicer. So it just really rounds off the ends much better than using the hard edge. Perfecto. All right, so let's actually show you what these look like. Yeah, those are fun. I think these with a nice set of reflective brake calipers, brake caliper wrap would look pretty amazing. It's pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited about getting this on the car, get the rest of the other 3 wrapped, and I only have one other one here. The other 2 are at the shop still, and get it done. Yeah, and get them on the car this season. Why not? So let's bring this back. All right, guys. So if you thought that this was helpful and informative in a way to kind of do some craft for yourself or just fix up your wheels a little bit, again, you can improvise when you have different types of wheels and different types of finishes and stuff like that. You can do different colors, but even if you do something that's sort of like the color that you have already on there, it can really refresh your wheel face and just the look, the appearance all in all. You know, like I said, getting into wrapping all the inside the windows and stuff like that, yes, it can be done, but you're looking at multiple pieces and a lot more time spent on doing that. To do these ones here on the sides, maybe I will, I don't know. Would only take me like another 10-15 minutes. These are actually pretty small, and for me, I'm just going to cut with my blade on the wheel because I don't really care. They're not even in the best shape in the first place. So again, if you have a set of wheels like that you don't really care too much about, you don't really need to use a knifeless tape. If you are doing them for a customer or something like that, then yes, you will want to protect the finish of the wheel, so use knifeless tape, but you don't need to use knifeless tape in this area here, as I demonstrated the cutting technique that you should be using when you are doing that. Again, just running your blade along the backside, keeping it flat, but practice this on other things first. Practicing it on other things first will actually improve your skill and also allow you to figure out exactly how the blade has to sit. You know, you don't want to turn, as soon as you turn the blade in, what's going to happen is you're going to cut into the wheel. If you turn the blade out, well, we're going to have a funny looking cut. So we want to keep the blade flat at all times, and that's just a matter of you know, finding a good guide and body positioning and your placement and things like that. Not pushing too hard, don't try to kill it. We're just letting the blade do the work while we move it through the film. That's about it, and then we follow the contour of everything, just flow like you're writing. That's pretty much it. If you guys think that I should do the outer lip in holographic chrome, drop a comment below. Maybe once I get all the faces done, then I'll do the lips. Again, I hope you liked the video, and I hope that it was informative for you. If it was, give it a thumbs up, guys. Thank you very much. Take care.